If I was Harry, I'd be lying awake at night.
His games cancelled.
It's not only a problem for his brand, it's a problem for the marriage.
Invictus Games organisers delighted that one Meghan Markle didn't show up for the big 1 year countdown in Birmingham. How many times have I told you don't be a...
The Invictus Games may now be moving toward the one outcome Prince Harry never imagined he would have to face. Birmingham 2027. The project, meant to protect his reputation and preserve the strongest part of his public legacy, is being followed by reports of sponsor trouble, financial uncertainty, and fears that the event could be reduced, postponed, or even cancelled.
Massive scoop that the whole thing could be pulled. It's truly shocking. The reason why is because this Invictus brand has been tainted by its association with the Sussexes. We know that everything they touch turns to mud. We've seen it in business, we've seen it with their broadcasting work, and now we're seeing it in the charity sector.
Harry returned to Britain needing one disciplined week that placed veterans at the center, yet Meghan Markle stayed away. Insiders reportedly welcomed the calmer atmosphere, and the Sussex spectacle still managed to dominate almost everything around the visit. Invictus is not a podcast that can end or a product quietly removed from a website.
The games were born more than a decade ago from a promise that I made to myself. A promise to uphold my obligation, a sacred obligation after my own decade and privilege of military service, to do whatever I could to help my fellow brothers and sisters heal, and to champion everything that we stand for.
Harry has repeatedly presented it as his life's work, centered on wounded, injured, and sick service personnel whose recovery deserves attention. Even many of his critics have respected the project because its stated mission is larger than the man promoting it. That is why a serious threat to Birmingham would damage more than 1 week of competition.
I think he should move heaven and earth to make sure it's not cancelled if that's a threat, a reported threat at the moment.
Before we continue, I want to mention something really quick. Organizing your family's important information is one of those things most of us know we should do, but we keep putting it off. That's exactly why there's the Family Vault. It gives you one place to organize your important documents, insurance, medical information, passwords, and more, so everything is easy to find when it's needed. You'll find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. That's all. Now, let's get back to today's story. If Invictus weakens, Harry risks losing the last major platform where he still appears as a credible leader instead of a celebrity consumed by family disputes and personal grievances. The fact that cancellation is even being discussed should trigger alarms.
There's no money. There's no... All the other charities were a disaster. Invictus is Harry. Harry is Invictus.
Yeah.
And you're telling me it could be cancelled.
Could be.
This, I mean, I promise you, other than some physical problem like illness or whatever, this is the worst thing that could happen to Harry.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this with any kind of glee. I think Invictus is a great...
I'm so happy. You've made my day.
Healthy international events do not usually attract that word. Unless people involved in the conversation fear the finances may be less secure than the public image suggests. No decision has been announced, but confidence is clearly being tested. The warning alone creates pressure before a single official cut has been confirmed. The United Kingdom government has offered support of up to £26 million for the Birmingham Games.
Harry's the ambassador, he's the face of it, but it's really about the veterans and their families. So I think that's what they need to keep in mind. The thing about Harry is, of course, headlines are great, but they don't always generate sponsorship. In fact, sometimes the wrong headlines.
That is a huge commitment, but it is not a blank check covering every possible shortfall. And it does not remove the need for private sponsorship, commercial partnerships, and companies willing to connect their reputations to the event. Organizers are still asking businesses to register interest, which makes one thing obvious. The funding effort is continuing, the deadline is getting closer, and the games cannot rely on smiles, speeches, and public money alone.
The UK have pledged, they've underwritten 26 million quid for next year's Birmingham Games, but they will only release that money if Invictus raise enough money for the games to go ahead. So currently, the UK government has given them approximately 3 million quid of that underwritten 26. which means Invictus have got to raise a lot of money between now and next year for the games to go ahead in its entirety. And it doesn't seem like it's doing too well.
Then the sponsorship story became even more uncomfortable. Boeing, which backed earlier editions of the Invictus Games, has reportedly decided not to support Birmingham 2027. A global company leaving at this stage does not automatically prove the event is collapsing, but it creates a damaging impression and forces everyone else to ask what will replace the money, influence, and corporate confidence that such a recognizable name previously supplied.
If you are Better Up or whatever, it's Better Up, right? The company that pays him as, I guess, a glorified ambassador. Are you not sitting back thinking, is this the right guy? I mean, Invictus too. Are you not sitting there going, I don't know if this is the right person to represent us, because he brings destruction, chaos, and a circus wherever he goes.
This was the purpose of Harry's one-year countdown appearance in the United Kingdom. He should have been presenting Birmingham as an irresistible opportunity, meeting potential partners, celebrating competitors, and giving the public a clear reason to believe Invictus was entering its final year with momentum. Instead, the visit became crowded by his court loss, his angry response to the ruling, disputes over accommodation, renewed security complaints, Meghan's absence.
Invictus is all he's got. We know that the public speaking work has dried up, and he was getting $1 million per speech. Now it's 50K, and the jobs aren't even coming in.
Yeah.
We know that African Parks, which is a good charity, but mired in allegations of the abuse of local tribes in Africa.
Yeah.
Yikes. Well, Harry's on the board of that charity and used to run it. Mm-hmm. Then there's Centre Barley, another good charity that Harry lost control of following a bitter public row with Sophie Chandauka, who now controls the charity. It was his charity that he lost control of.
Yeah.
And then there's the Archwell Philanthropies, or Foundation, or whatever it's called this week.
Yeah.
Which has effectively been shuttered.
And speculation about a private royal reunion. The mission came first on the schedule, but the Sussex drama came first in the headlines. That is dangerous when an organization is asking corporations for millions. Sponsors are not simply buying a logo beside a stage. They are buying reliability, controlled messaging, and an uplifting story they can confidently share. Harry generates attention instantly, but it becomes useless when controversy makes companies fear their support will be buried beneath family conflict. One commentator warned that negative headlines may discourage sponsors, and Birmingham now needs signed deals, not publicity alone.
Where's Netflix? This company that has bottomless pockets.
Correct.
They are spunking money left, right, and centre on stuff that doesn't work. They bought.
Beg your pardon. I was told this was a family show.
They're buying
podcasts. You know I'm a Roman Catholic.
They're buying podcasts. They're buying podcasts now that people aren't even watching on Netflix. Netflix have got money. Netflix could easily, if they're such good friends with the Sussexes, they could say, all right, here's 10 million.
Companies want a cause they can support proudly without explaining why their investment vanished behind another personal crisis. Invictus matters even more because Harry does not have a long list of thriving projects behind it. His entertainment partnerships have been criticized, reduced, or allowed to disappear. Centibale ended through an ugly public dispute. African Parks has faced grave allegations involving local communities, and Archwell has repeatedly changed direction.
The usual thing with the Sussex is always ends in tears.
Yeah.
Everything they do flops. If it doesn't involve blabbing about the royal family and attacking the monarchy, everything else flops. Nick, tell me one outside of the royal thing. Give me one thing that's been a success.
Invictus remains the clearest place where Harry can still be treated as the leader of a respected international cause. Without it, the respected part of his public identity becomes much harder to defend. Meghan's absence, therefore, cannot be dismissed as a small change in the timetable. She had reportedly been expected to appear during the Birmingham countdown before the plan shifted and Harry completed the engagement by himself. Under normal circumstances, that should have looked like a loss for organizers, because Meghan attracts photographers, fashion coverage, celebrity interest, and international headlines.
I thought that you would want a little bit more stardust than Prince Harry and his weird PDA with Alison Hammond, but no. There is a real desire within the Invictus Games to move the sideshow away from it becoming the Markle Games.
For an event searching for support, removing one of the world's most recognizable figures would usually appear to reduce its reach. Yet reports attributed to insiders suggested that some people working around Invictus felt relieved she did not attend. Harry's solo schedule was reportedly easier, more flexible, and less demanding, while the focus remained closer to competitors instead of being consumed by the couple's celebrity machine.
I just wanted to thank all of you for welcoming me into the Invictus family.
Meghan's appearances were described as involving more security planning, tighter control, and additional last-minute coordination. Whether every detail is accurate or not, that reported reaction is an extraordinary message for someone who has become so visible beside the games. Consider how humiliating that image is. Invictus needs famous supporters, yet people behind it were allegedly happier when one of its biggest celebrity attractions stayed away.
The organisers were delighted. He writes, Prince Harry arrived in Birmingham without Meghan Markle by his side, and insiders tell Naughty But Nice that behind the scenes, some Invictus Games organisers quietly welcomed the last-minute change. Meghan had been expected to attend the one-year countdown celebration, but pulled out just days before the event. Harry ultimately flew solo, and sources say his solo appearance made for a smoother, more relaxed day. There was a sense of relief backstage, one insider said.
That suggests organizers may see Meghan as capable of delivering publicity, while also creating a distraction they cannot afford when coverage should promote competitors, rehabilitation, resilience, and military families rather than outfits, security demands, or another spotlight battle. Visibility has value, but only when it strengthens the mission, instead of forcing the mission to compete with celebrity drama. None of this establishes that Meghan caused the financial pressure.
Meghan's appearances often require, this is an understatement, far more coordination. Her visits usually involve extra security meetings, tighter schedules, and constant last-minute adjustments, the source explains. With Harry on his own, everything is refreshingly straightforward. The team can focus on delivering a great event instead of managing endless logistics and drama.
Boeing has not publicly blamed her. Organizers have not officially accused her of driving sponsors away, and there is no honest basis for presenting those claims as confirmed fact. The damaging part is the timing. As questions grow over whether enough funding can be secured, insiders are reportedly describing the operation as smoother, without a woman who has become closely tied to the public identity of Invictus. Sponsors may notice that contradiction even if Harry and Meghan never address it.
She couldn't even just show up to be in the background, to not make a fuss, to just be low maintenance, because she couldn't do all of those things. You know, they had to be, happy that she didn't even show up. And, Meghan, this would have been a great opportunity for her. It would have been great for Harry to be able to bring in his family. And it is quite sad that his life is in such chaos and disorder that he can't even be alongside his wife with the children, which would make it so much more nicer, I believe.
That leaves a business question beneath the gossip. Is Meghan still valuable to Invictus, or has the media circus around her become too disruptive? Does she deliver the global audience companies want, or push veterans out of the story? Can organizers benefit from the Sussex name without turning each appearance into another Meghan and Harry production? When millions may still be required, these questions affect contracts and risk, not merely tabloid entertainment.
Meghan is a total nightmare to deal with. There was no excitement about these pictures. These pictures didn't make any front pages of the newspapers. They weren't being shown all over the websites around the world because Harry no longer has any glamour attached to him.
Harry's appearance alone revealed another uncomfortable problem. The event may have been easier to manage without Meghan, but it still failed to own the wider news cycle in the way an urgent fundraising campaign might require. There were positive photographs, sporting activities, and warm interactions with veterans. Yet coverage quickly returned to the court, the palace, his family, and the contradictions surrounding the Sussexes. For a few hours, Invictus avoided the Meghan show, but it remained trapped inside the much larger drama attached to Harry's visit.
Part of Harry coming to Birmingham this week, he was supposed to go and see his dad. He was supposed to have the kids. Well, his other main reason was for the Invictus launch is to go and have meetings to try and drum up more support, drum up more sponsorship. And it's not going so well.
No, and we've said before that this return to the UK for the 1 year countdown is a non-event, like a nothing burger. And we've said, haven't we, what is this the countdown to? A diminished event which is losing sponsors left and right.
Yeah.
This is the impossible trap the couple has helped create. When Meghan attends, critics say the games are being used as a personal red carpet. When she remains home, her disappearance becomes the headline, and Harry loses some of the celebrity impact that might attract sponsors. Mention the children and the conversation turns to security. Mention the king and it becomes a reconciliation story. Put Harry inside a courtroom and his anger takes control. Whatever choice they make, their brand repeatedly becomes louder than the cause they claim to serve.
There have been lots of reports in the press that attention in the marriage has been that Meghan sees herself as a breadwinner. And I always take rare opportunities to defend Meghan where I can, because we want to be fair and balanced and we don't want to be an echo chamber.
Yeah.
And I will say that I don't like Megs, but by golly, she's got get up and go. Right? She's no slouch.
Yeah.
She's bagged herself a prince. She's a world famous person, a detestable human in my view, but she's getting it done.
Harry cannot place every part of that failure at the feet of the British press. He knew the countdown date, understood that Birmingham needed a strong final year launch, and surely realized that companies would be watching closely. Still, his return arrived beside a legal defeat, a furious statement attacking the outcome, confusion over royal accommodation, uncertainty about Meghan's attendance, and endless questions about whether he would meet his father. If Invictus truly stood above everything else, why was the week allowed to become another marathon of Sussex controversy?
And that's a big, big problem and the controversy in the past about Meghan's behaviour at the parade when she's like leading the group of veterans. Why is she leading that parade? What's she done with her body that works perfectly? Oh, look at me, I'm so able-bodied, you know, in my revealing white trouser suit. My husband.
Now that chaos may carry a direct financial cost. Corporate boards protect their money carefully and prefer projects with stable leadership, predictable messaging, and a clear public benefit. No sponsor wants to invest in an international competition for veterans only to see its name disappear underneath stories about judges, palace briefings, family feuds, security arguments, and staff allegedly celebrating Meghan's absence. Harry and Meghan may view constant headlines as proof of relevance, while executives may view the very same attention as an unnecessary reputational risk.
Why should Boeing and other sponsors pump millions in when they're going to be associated with a couple who the public don't like, who the public don't trust, who often the public don't believe? On the last show, we talked about this war of words with the palace. Did they offer Harry accommodation? Did they not? He said, she said.
That is why Boeing's reported decision matters beyond one missing logo. The company backed previous Invictus events, including Vancouver Whistler, but is reportedly not returning for Birmingham. Its reasons may have nothing to do with Harry or Meghan because businesses change budgets and priorities. Even so, the appearance is damaging. A major former sponsor steps back. Organizers keep searching. Cancellation fears emerge. And the founder spends his British visit fighting unrelated battles.
You know, we're hearing she's the breadwinner, and actually the evidence is that, she's the only one picking up the phone, making calls. We know the media, it ain't easy. So she's trying. Harry is not trying. And I'm also hearing that Harry thinks, well, Megs can do that rather grubby work of bringing money in, and I shall be the global leader, the humanitarian. I'll be the philanthropist. I'll be the man that makes the world a better place. Well, how's that going? Centibale, disaster. African Parks, disaster. Archwell, disaster. Invictus, double disaster.
That sequence may worry other executives before Harry ever enters the room to ask for support. Harry's supporters are right about one thing. He often appears genuinely engaged when he is with the Invictus community. He remembers personal stories, joins activities, communicates naturally with competitors, and shows a warmth that is frequently missing when he discusses the royal family or attacks the media. People connected to the games have praised the energy he brings. That makes the current crisis even more frustrating, because Harry seems strongest when he concentrates on veterans, yet he repeatedly arrives, carrying distractions that force those same veterans to compete for space and coverage built around him.
And it's a lonely place to be if you're the Duke and Duchess of Sussex at the moment. And it's scary. And if I was Harry, I'd be lying awake at night.
One commentator argued that Harry must move heaven and earth to prevent cancellation. That should not be dismissed as exaggerated television language. It is the basic responsibility of the founder whose identity is tied so closely to the movement. Birmingham cannot be treated as another appearance squeezed between legal battles and media projects. Harry needs to contact companies, sit with executives, explain the budget, rebuild confidence, and demonstrate exactly how sponsorship money will be used. Emotional speeches and a royal title will not automatically open every corporate door.
Main sponsors, Boeing, has actually pulled out. That would be a lot of money.
Wow.
The government in the UK has pledged, I think something like £30 million if they can match the sponsorship from elsewhere. So that's the challenge for them at the moment.
Meghan's place in that rescue effort is equally important. If Invictus is genuinely a shared priority inside their marriage, will she use her network, media contacts, and business relationships to bring new sponsors into serious discussions? Will she assist privately because staff reportedly prefer an operation that does not revolve around her? Or will she return for the games and risk another wave of coverage focused on the Sussexes rather than the athletes? Every route contains danger, but remaining completely passive would be worse, because glossy photographs cannot restore a cancelled competition.
There is a growing view within Invictus that Harry is actually becoming a massive drag on the event, that they want another patron, that they believe someone like Anne, Princess Anne, or Zara or Mike Tyndall would actually be far more appropriate for the goals of the Invictus Games.
Another possible outcome is survival through major cuts. Commentators have discussed reducing the number of days, accommodation costs, or parts of the program. No official reduction has been confirmed, but the suggestion shows how serious the conversation has become. A smaller event could still serve veterans, yet it would also reveal how far Harry's proudest project had retreated from its original ambition. Even a successful reduced version could be interpreted as an emergency compromise rather than confident growth.
I mean, Harry is showing up as a broken prince, as I always say, and he doesn't have this wholeness about him. You know what I mean? It just seems like it's like a little bit of him coming, and it's not nice to
No,
to
100%.
see. It's
He is
kinda
a broken
half-baked.
prince.
The people least responsible for this uncertainty are the competitors themselves. They did not begin the Sussex conflict with the palace, challenge a judge, create contradictory security narratives, or turn every journey into another discussion about Meghan. They trained, recovered, and prepared to represent their countries, while families supported them through enormous sacrifices. If Birmingham is cut back or cancelled, they will absorb the emotional disappointment while Harry and Meghan continue toward another interview, documentary, business launch, or public dispute. Harry returned to Britain, supposedly carrying the future of Invictus into its final year.
Supported Invictus Games, which is a brilliant concept, which is to show wounded people that they are not victims. What has he done to himself? He's turned himself into the biggest victim of all time.
By the end of the visit, however, coverage centered on his courtroom defeat, attack on the decision, accommodation uncertainty, security complaints, a private meeting with the king, Meghan's absence, and reports that workers preferred the event without her. The countdown happened, but the Sussexes collected most of the attention. That pattern is exactly what a difficult sponsorship campaign cannot absorb. The one-year mark should have shown that Birmingham was prepared. Instead, it started a more alarming countdown toward unanswered financial deadlines. How much private support has been secured?
She's the only one making an effort to bring some cash in, because she's a hustler.
Yeah.
And by the way, she knows no shame. She'll ask anyone for work. In fact, she
Compliment and then a put down.
Well,
at
I
the
know.
same-
I mean, she'll be the one. She might actually be in Birmingham city centre, and she might visit Mr. Nijab's.
Neelams.
That's the one. Him too. His kebab house.
Before we continue, one quick thing. One thing I've realized is that most families don't have their important information organized in one place. That's exactly why I recommend the Family Vault, a simple, printable, and fillable organizer where you can keep everything from important documents and insurance to medical information, passwords. You'll find the link in the description, or you can simply scan the QR code on your screen. Now let's get back to today's story. Which major companies are still considering deals? What happens if a large gap remains in 6 months? Will government exposure increase? Will the program shrink? Will Harry find donors? Or will everyone keep posing until the shortage can no longer be hidden? Every month of uncertainty makes a late solution more expensive, more embarrassing, and more difficult to present as planned. This may now be Harry's most significant test since leaving royal life. It will not be solved through another interview, lawsuit, or documentary explaining how other people disappointed him.
It's not only a problem for his brand, it's a problem for the marriage. Because how does he go to Meg's and say, well, I know that Invictus has gone up in smoke, but I'm still a philanthropist? I mean, how's that going to wash with the missus?
Yeah.
He has to prove he can defend a mission that matters more than his feelings and personal disputes. Invictus cannot operate on anger toward newspapers, memories of military service, or emotional stories from the past. It requires disciplined management, serious fundraising, and a founder capable of preventing his private conflicts from overwhelming the work. Meghan is facing her own test as well. If the report about staff feeling relieved is accurate, she can deny it, ignore it, or demonstrate that the criticism is wrong.
The biggest royal story of the year. This is an unmitigated disaster for Harry. This is a nightmare on wheels. This is catastrophic.
She could help without demanding the central position, support fundraising without converting each meeting into content, and show that her involvement does not automatically require chaos or last-minute changes. But if she appears only when the cameras are biggest and publicity is guaranteed, critics will argue that Invictus matters to her mainly when it can strengthen the Sussex brand. Harry, therefore, has a clear decision ahead. Does he spend the coming year pursuing reunion stories, continuing legal fights, and allowing Meghan's attendance to become another permanent guessing game?
Harry's going to have to hustle hard to get another 20 million from somewhere.
Well, what it tells us, if by some miracle they put the show on next year, that'll be the last.
Perhaps indeed.
Or does he reduce the circus, focus completely on sponsorship, and direct every available resource toward Birmingham? If Invictus truly represents his life's work, excuses are no longer enough. He must secure funding, repair confidence, and put the veterans back at the center before the possibility of cancellation becomes an official reality. If Birmingham fails, Harry will struggle to describe it as another attack by the press. He cannot credibly blame the palace, security arrangements, or organizers who were reportedly relieved Meghan remained away.
Invictus is Harry's real legacy, not the Netflix drama, not the spare, not the whinging and complaining and everything else that, his life has been documented by in recent years.
He would instead have to face the brutal possibility that his greatest project reached its final year without enough certainty, while his own controversies once again became stronger than the mission. Invictus gave Harry direction when he desperately needed it. The question is whether he can now provide Invictus with the focus, protection, and leadership it needs from him. Do you believe Birmingham 2027 is truly in danger? Or are these warnings meant to push sponsors into action? Does Harry's name still help Invictus raise money? Or has the Sussex brand become too controversial? And after reports that staff preferred Meghan's absence, should she stay behind the scenes or return and prove she can support veterans without taking over? Share your opinion below and subscribe to Hollywood Yesterday for the next update.